All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are on page 13, and this one is the title Constitutionalism Seven Basic Principles. Let's start with the first one, popular sovereignty. In this one, ultimate power and final authority, meaning they have the last word, rests with the people. Okay? How and where is it achieved? The preamble. Remember in the Constitution how it starts? And the preamble says, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. All right. Now also, where you can find it is the 14th Amendment, where it gives people citizenship. All the rights that an American citizen has, you'll find it in there. And then you'll also find it in the ability to vote, okay? And you'll find that in the 15th Amendment. You'll find it in the 19th Amendment that said that the 15th said that there could be nothing to keep people from voting, whether it be a poll tax, grandfather clause, or a literacy test. The 19th Amendment said that 18-year-olds could vote. Okay? Wait a minute. The 19th Amendment is women can vote. And the 26th Amendment is the one that says 18-year-olds can vote. All right, let's move on to republicanism. In this one, people, meaning you and I, exercise their power by delegating it, giving it to representatives. Okay? A representative in this case is a mayor, a governor, a lieutenant governor, a senator, a representative. Okay? And they do that through the election process. And if you remember, how do you get somebody out that is not representing you correctly? You kick the bum out. You vote and say, we don't want you there. Okay? Where do you find it? This one is in the Constitution, Article 1. Okay? It pushes for a bicameral Congress. Bicameral meaning two houses. You have the Senate and you have the House of Reps. Okay? Where else do you get it? Article 2 of the Constitution. And that one pushes for a president and vice president to be elected every 4 years. Okay? Where else? Article 4. Well, let me write it up. Article 4. And in this one, it obligates, meaning they have to do it. It obligates the government to offer a Republican form of government. In other words, where we have representatives. Okay? Let's go to federalism. Federalism, power is divided between a national government or a federal government and a state government. So the head of the national government, federal government today, is we have President Trump and a state governor, a state government. Your leader is the governor. Okay? Where do we find it? Article, I'm sorry, Article 1, Section 8. And in there, it talks about the powers of Congress. Also, in the 10th Amendment. In the 10th Amendment, it says, if the power is not given to the government, it automatically goes to the state and the people. Separation of powers. In this one, the national government is divided into 3 branches. By having them divided, no one is more powerful than the other one. The first one is the executive branch, and I would highlight this, the executive branch, and in this one you have the president and his cabinet. The second one is the legislative, better known as Congress, legislative, and in this one you have a bicameral Congress. As I mentioned, you have the Senate and you have the House of Reps. And the third one is the Supreme Court. Okay? And of course, you have your judges. Where do you find this? Very easy. Article 1 in the Constitution. It says you need a legislative branch. Article 2. It says you need an executive branch. Article 3 says you need a judicial branch. In other words, the Constitution is what is the majority of these principles. That's where you're going to find them. The checks and balances. Each of the 3 branches has control or can check on the other 2. In other words, the president can't just say, oh, I want this done. No, the Congress and Supreme Court can say, hey, President, you're going way out of bounds, okay? You have a president, if he gets out of bounds, doesn't play right, doesn't play by the rules, you can kick him out, and we'll talk more about that. Where do you find it? Pretty much, as I mentioned, the articles over here, when it sets up the legislative 1, 2, 3, the Constitution sets do's and don'ts. Okay? They cannot do whatever they want. Now let's look at limited government. Limited government meaning the government can be controlled by the people. Okay? Again, if you have one of these 3 branches up here that wants to get out of control, no, they can't do that. Okay? There is something known as the rule of law. Highlight that, make sure you know what it is. Okay? What it, also limited government says the government is not all powerful. Okay, where do you find it? In the Bill of Rights. Like, for example, if I criticize the president, I cannot get arrested for that because I have the right to complain against my president, my government. It's called freedom of speech. Now, again, if I say he is out of control, he is acting ridiculous, he's turning into a tyrant, that's my right. I can't say anything ridiculous like, oh, I want him to die, I want to kill him. No, 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 I'm going beyond. Okay, where else do you find it? On this one, Article 6, and there is something known as, please highlight it, the Supremacy Clause. What does that mean? When you read it, you'll understand. Okay? Also, the Constitution, it has a nickname. It is known as the Supreme Law of the land. Okay? Individual rights. These are personal freedoms that are guaranteed by the Constitution. Notice when you write the word Constitution, in this case, when you're talking about the Constitution of the United States, you always capitalize it. Where do you find it? In the Constitution, they talk about the writ of habeas corpus, and we'll discuss that in class. Also, the Bill of Rights, and there you have something known as due process. And of course, in the 14th Amendment, and in that one, they're talking about equal protection. In other words, all American citizens will be treated equally, hopefully. Okay? Oh, this thing went out. All right. Didn't notice that. The government can be controlled. Okay, this is what I was talking about. All right, thank you.